Hey, I'm Shanda Golden, and you're hanging out here with me in the vault. Today we're going to be talking to Billy Duffy of the Cult and the one and only Fred Gretsch of Gretsch Guitars.
Ta-da.
Ta-da!
Here we are.
Here we are.
And drums too.
And drums, that's right, and drums, and drums. That's right. So you gentlemen are here at Bizarre Guitar for the 130th anniversary of Gretsch Guitar and Drums. Correct, right?
That's it.
We're here, and you're catching on, Shanda.
Yeah.
Catching on to the drum part.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
That's
very
right.
cool.
You know, it's kind of a challenge when the name of the store is guitar,
Right.
and also get drum in there.
Yeah,
So,
guitar, drums, and guns.
yeah, there we
And
go.
guns, right?
That's right.
All the big boy stuff.
That's right.
So can you tell us what you're doing with these clinics? You've gone around to different dealers. Bizarre Guitar's been honored to be one of them.
It's our 130th anniversary. So it started in 1883.
Wow.
Great granddad came as an immigrant to Brooklyn at 16 years of age and learned instrument making, and came in 1872 from Mannheim. And so fast forward, here we are today.
Awesome.
The first half of the business was like educational instruments, because that's really where it was at. And sure, there were professional musicians, but jazz didn't come around till the 20s.
Right.
And the business was 40 years old at that point. And the designs that we made in the 30s and the 40s, rock and roll hit in the early 50s, and those were the tone. That was the tone and the feel that the guys wanted back then.
Right.
So here we are 55, 60 years later, making those same instruments faithfully, and lifers like Billy Duffy here, who picked one up in the 70s and continues to play it. We wouldn't be here if it wasn't for people like Billy who
Right.
liked the sound and stuck with it. And thanks, Billy.
Yeah, that
You're
great
welcome.
Gretsch sound.
Just do my little part. Just a little part.
Now you've always
big part.
Yeah, big huge
Yeah,
part.
big part.
You've always played on a Gretsch, right? I mean, didn't you write your first album with the Gretsch?
The White Falcon and the Gretsch very synonymous with the Cult.
Right.
And when we started, it was a big part of sort of establishing the band's identity,
Right.
as well as what my singer Ian did. My side of it, I was looking to find an instrument that was a little different, because we kind of came out of the post-punk era, and as sort of fans of punk rock, we didn't really want to try and be a bad version of the Sex Pistols and the Clash and the
Right.
bands that I grew up listening to. We wanted to try and develop our own sound, and Gretsch guitars and the Falcon particularly, I found a great way of expressing a kind of larger than life cinematic guitar sound that really
Right.
fitted with what we were trying to achieve. It was almost we were trying to take like elements of like Ennio Morricone and adapt that to kind of more of a tribal drum beat, and we switched the emphasis of the bass guitar from being something that just simply kind of was low down and was with the kick drum.
Right.
The bass was more melodic and the guitar was more percussive and more haunting, and that was the whole thing. And so the Falcon just became, synonymous with the early Cult,
Right.
and I've had one since day one. In fact, I actually had one in a band before the Cult, which led me, that was the band where I met my singer. He was in the opening act, and
Right.
Gretsch has been a mainstay of it all along. I mean, I've used other guitars, sorry Fred, but the Falcon's always been, if you ask probably most people, identify me in the Cult with
Right.
the big white guitar, and
I do.
it's like the White Buffalo, it's a legendary, mystical, it's a man's guitar, not
Well,
everybody can play one of these,
That's true.
It's a tricky instrument to get around, right?
Developed in the mid-50s.
About the same time as a Cadillac.
That's right.
And you wouldn't want to take that around a racetrack, would you? Well, you would now, but not in the 50s.
and it was meant to be brash and outrageous in the 50s.
Right.
And what was brash and outrageous in the 50s entirely different today.
Yeah.
But it's amazing that Jimmy Webster, the artist guy who worked with guys like Billy back in the day and got great ideas, came up on that formula, and here it is 55 years later. And,
Very cool.
And still going strong. But obviously you're playing it since the 70s. We appreciate that. You're one of the lifers that's making a difference in music. So.
Well, I really used it on the records. A lot of guys would use them in videos, apparently, because they look good. But no, I actually made records with them and toured with them. And for a period, that was my only guitar. My original 70s Falcon is literally is like I literally sold virtually everything I owned to. You know what I mean?
I read that.
It's a true story, actually. I did really, because the guitar was incredibly expensive. They were super rare in England. It had to be imported from the United States. You know, you made an order, put a deposit, and waited in London, and because there was a little bit of a rockabilly thing. There was a big rockabilly revival in the UK right at the end, like 79, 80, and the Stray Cats were a very big part of that, and they were kind of friends of mine and amazing. And there was a Gretsch there. And it just kind of happened, It was all a very kind of simpatico kind of situation.
Well, I read that you called these guitars tough.
I mean, yeah, the guitar certainly takes a beating. It looks fancy, but I mean, I certainly abused mine. I've had many bouts of Yeah.
Yeah, you got to. Well, you're kind of a tough guy, so it makes sense you'd have a.
Oh no, I'm a
good
big softy.
Are you?
Anybody that knows me knows that. Really, yeah. I'm just a big softy. He's tough.
He's the tough
I'm a
guy.
softy.
Now the guitar wiggles and jiggles, but it sounds like
Yeah, it
like
sounds
something
cool.
special.
So can you show us around your guitar? By the way, this guitar is here at Bizarre Guitar. We are selling these, but this guitar is my guitar.
Yep.
Because I'm taking this home tonight.
Yep.
Remember I told you,
Yeah.
Fred, I said, Fred, I'm taking that guitar home. So
See?
that's going to be my new guitar. Goodie for me.
That's her parlor guitar. Her big parlor. I mean, the guitar. It's basically. I mean, I'm not. It's the big thing I did with it. It's exactly feels and is exact feel of the 70s
Right.
Guitar that I liked. It has smaller F holes and stuff. But the only thing I did, I don't ever use a scratch plate. I've just never been a guitar player that uses that. So this one doesn't have one. Just because all the guys I thought were cool in the 70s didn't have them. So I was like, the bridge is pinned because I rest a lot and put a lot of pressure on that.
Right.
So it saves people the trouble having to get it attached. It's a standard, that particular, what's that called, the official name for that?
It's a wire arm on the big
Yeah, it just gives a much more...
And Chet Atkins was the first to
yeah.
develop that
Very
wire
cool.
arm.
That's the only Bigsby I've ever really liked, personally,
Right.
is this one. It just doesn't, it's not such a violent action to the thing, so I kind of incorporated that into the sound where, because it's curved, there's a bit stuff like that. And yeah, the curvature of it tends to just mean that you don't get that hard, like a Fender Strat.
Right.
It's the opposite of that, which is kind of a very short staccato kind of thing.
Right.
This is the opposite of that. And then, and the big thing, we changed the sparkle.
That's right. So silver binding.
Silver binding, which I
Silver
think's the
sparkle
only one, right?
That's
Ever?
right.
That's
That's right.
the first one they've ever done. And because a lot of it on my one, it's had so much wear and tear that a lot of the gold had come off it just
Right.
through, thousands of gigs and stuff. So I kind of just got the idea, and thankfully they went for it, because we wanted it to look a little different. And what
It's
else?
a beautiful, beautiful guitar.
Block position markers, which you chose as well.
Yeah. Just the neck is exactly identical to my 70s guitar. That it's forensically.
Now, I think I read that you let them use your guitar as they were building. Who's your master builder on this? I forgot his name.
Well, Stephen Stern is a master builder for Gretsch.
Okay.
But of course, Joe Carducci was involved with the
Right.
build.
Love Joe.
Joe was very involved in it, and Chris Fleming.
Okay, that's a name I
Chris is
remember.
another
Yeah, Fender.
Okay.
There's a bunch of different guys. The pickup, I will quote Joe Carducci, has been reverse engineered because I was trying to. The other thing about what I tried to do with the Falcon was kind of use it on a much more louder rock way, using wah-wah pedals and overdrives and stuff that perhaps I felt hadn't been done as much. I tried to push it as much to kind of see how far I could take a hollow body guitar
Right.
into the rock realm rather than, great country, rockabilly, all that stuff. It does, everybody knows that. But I wanted to see how far I could make it go. So we ended up having to get the pickup hotter because the 70s ones, I found the output was just not up to snuff. So Seymour Duncan actually made me one.
Very cool.
Lovely fellow. I think we'll
Yes.
all agree.
Sure, absolutely.
And he
a master pickup guy.
Yeah, so I went to him. He's got, he's a tone guy.
Right.
And in the time, and remember we're talking like 86, 87, I had that done. And of course at the time everybody was making DiMarzios and it was all like metal and like
Right.
very like super high output. And I wanted to retain the characteristics of the guitar and the tone.
Right.
But I just wanted more horsepower.
And it was a time when Gretsch guitars weren't being made.
Yeah, there was no,
They
there
were
was,
not in production.
there was no, yeah, so I couldn't go and get one. Now,
Right.
of course, the pickups are great. And
Very
I
cool.
have other Gretsches that are more modern. I have more modern Gretsches. The pickups are great. The TV Jones pickups they do. So that all the problems I had in the 70s have been resolved
Right.
now. You know what I mean? But the 70s and 80s, the 80s particularly, it was a little barren.
Right.
We had to, so Seymour Saved My Life, we've reverse engineered it so it sounds basically exactly like my one unique pickup.
Very cool.
And that's about it. You
I
know,
love it.
That's
Thank
it.
you. I'll
It's
take my
beautiful.
guitar
Yeah,
now.
you want it? Oh, yeah, see, you want it going? You know what, you probably look better holding that than I do.
Maybe it'll make me play? No.
I like it. You
No,
can play.
I
I'm
have
not
these
gonna-
beautiful guitars in my home and they just sit there. Because that's where I want them.
Yeah,
No
well,
one needs to play my
I
guitar.
think they should do exactly what you want them to do.
Yeah, and they're just going to look lovely in my home.
Yeah,
just
that's
like
nice.
both you gentlemen are.
Oh, well, thank you.
Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate you guys hanging out, especially coming down and doing this great clinic for us.
And
awesome.
the website is Billy Duffy.
Oh, yeah, the
Oh, yeah.
website. Let's sell it.
If you want to see lots of sexy pictures of me and that guitar and stuff, I've got BillyDuffy.com. Go figure. BillyDuffy.com. How easy is that?
That's easy. And then you're tweeting now, Fred. You're a tweeter.
Sure. Gretsch.com and GretschGuitars.com
Okay.
and GretschDrums.com. And,
Awesome.
And
Fred Gretsch.
on Twitter.
Yeah, and I'm tweeting now too under Mrs. Shanda Golden if you want to follow me on Twitter.
And if you want to see this guitar being wielded in anger, come and see the Cult on our tour this summer.
Oh,
We'll be
yeah,
out.
that's
And we're
right.
going around this great United States.
Okay,
On the Electric 13 tour.
that's awesome. That's
and
so awesome.
I will be wielding this.
Very cool.
For
And-
a substantial part of the show.
Do you know when are you guys going to come to the States? Are you going to play San
The
Francisco?
tour, yes, we are. We're playing the Fillmore on
Nice.
July the 27th or something.
Okay,
like that.
so July 27th, I'll be at the Fillmore.
Might be the 28th.
Or the 28th, I'll be there.
You know.
How's that?
Yeah, come.
I'm
It's
going
good.
to. Are you kidding?
It's going to be wielded.
Very cool. All right. Well, thank you so much for your time. And if you're in Reno, please come and check us out here at Bizarre Guitar. We've got all these great guitars, and I've got this
one
here.
of the great
Oh.
guitar shops of the world.
Really, Fred?
What do you
Thank
think,
you
Billy?
so much.
I agree.
Thank
We've
you,
been in
gentlemen.
plenty.
Yep, absolutely. Been a lot of guitar stores, and this one's one of the best. Plus, you can get a firearm should you need one.
Should you need one, thank you
Should
so
you need
much.
one, you
Next
can pop
door.
next door and get a firearm, which is always quite a unique
You know-
experience.
Thank you. And thank you so much for that compliment. My husband will really appreciate that. Thank
Okay.
you, Fred.
Okay.
All right. Well, we'll catch you later. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.